Okay. I gave a talk a few weeks ago at a Shabbos. Conversation was, what do you do if, when you come to the Shabbos table, your presence at the Shabbos table is triggering, which means that we think of Shabbos table as wonderful, beautiful, and sometimes the kids around the table don't find it such an oasis because you're enjoying Shabbos because to you it's a wonderful moment, and it's like it's holy, right? And you're enjoying family time, and you're enjoying getting together, and everybody's on the same. It's like so beautiful, full family getting together and talking and chatting and etc. etc. And what we don't realize sometimes is the reason it's beautiful is not a holy reason. I mean, it's a nice reason, but it's not a uniquely Jewish holy experience. What I mean by that is that what's Jewish about sitting around the table having good family time? That's something every normal human being should want to do. It's great. Highly recommended. Great. But why would your child, your teenager, want to be part of that? After all, to them, it's just a burden, right? They're not sitting at the table with all the kids and feeling this wonderful experience. They're just sitting around with the parent and some other siblings who they are fighting with, and it's not a great experience. So it becomes triggering. Well, there's a bunch of parents who have a child with severe trauma, and they were saying, like, sometimes I just come to the table and I'm sitting down with my Bekitcher at the table, and just my Bekitcher is triggering. And the Kiddush is triggering. And everything is triggering. And I was thinking about it. It's an interesting problem to have. Because you see, instead of looking at things as antagonistic, what we could do is look at it in a positive light. Look at every experience as raising our values and growing us to a higher plane than we were before. And every little thing, instead of bringing us down, can actually pick us up. So we can actually, instead of looking at it as a struggle that takes place between us and our children, we can perhaps see that our children are calling us to a higher experience of what Shabbos is. And that maybe they're telling us, like, Mom, Dad, I don't think you've ever kept Shabbos before. And you say, come on, I keep Shabbos every week. I mean, I know I keep Shabbos. How do you keep Shabbos? Well, 5:06, Shabbos comes in. So you look at the clock, and when Shabbos comes in, you make sure 18 minutes before, you light your candles, and then you refrain from doing the 39 melachos, the 39 forms of work. So now you're keeping Shabbos. But are we really keeping Shabbos, or are we just following the motions? Like, is that Shabbos? Is that a real Shabbos? What makes it Shabbos? It's in a certain sense, it's the action of Shabbos. We're following the actions. We're refraining from doing work, and we're resting. How do you rest? You sit around the table, make a and eat the meal, and don't use your phone, and don't go out with friends. And the funny part about Shabbos is that if you are in a building, and for whatever reason you find yourself that you have to get up to the 46th story of the building, then the Torah will tell you that to press a button to get up there is considered a form of work. But to walk up 46 flights of steps, that's not work. Why? Press the button? Nope. Can't press the button on Shabbos. Sorry. You say, but seriously, Pressing a button to me is a lot less work than having to climb up all those 46 steps. 46 stories is crazy. Nobody's saying that to rest is easy. To rest is actually a lot of work. But the question is, when you get to climb 46 flights of steps, you feel the work. Do we feel the work of Shabbos? When Shabbos comes in, do you feel like this is hard work? I go to work to keep Shabbos. I go to rest hard to keep Shabbos. Or is it just, no, shut the phone, enjoy, take a book, magazine, newspaper, lie down, hopefully enjoy some downtime and read. The Torah says when it introduces Shabbos, it tells us how to keep Shabbos. The introduction of Shabbos in the Ten Commandments, in the Aseret HaDibros, is Zachor et Yom HaShabbat lekadsho. What that means is, remember the Shabbos and make it holy. So how do you make Shabbos holy? Now let me explain the problem. The problem is this. Yom Tov, you actually make holy. And the reason is because even though everyone can be planning their trips, right? Where are you going for Pesach? Where are you going for Pesach became a whole different story 2 years ago when everybody had plans for Pesach, and then Purim, like Purim, if you don't have a plan for Pesach and Purim, you're finished. You can't have a celebration on Purim. And then all our plans are suddenly foiled by Corona and everything just... But really, it's already 3 months before Pesach now. You didn't know when you went to Pesach. But you know that back in the day, you didn't know when Pesach was going to fall out. Because when was Pesach determined what day it will be on? On Rosh Chodesh. So what happens is, you familiar with this? The way it would work is, we have today a calendar. So you can look at your calendar, you can know when my bar mitzvah for my kid in 5 years' time, and what exactly is what day, and you can plan the whole thing. Back in the day, there was what's called Kiddush HaChodesh. Kiddush HaChodesh means you sanctify the new moon. So the Beis Din, the Sanhedrin in Jerusalem, would determine every Shabbos, every Rosh Chodesh, they would invite witnesses. The witnesses would declare that I saw the new moon. And when you see the moon, you can announce that now it's Rosh Chodesh. Now Rosh Chodesh can sometimes be 2 days and sometimes be 1 day. So yes, approximately when Pesach is, we do know. But we'll never be able to tell exactly when Pesach is till 2 weeks before. Ditto for every other Yom Tov, every other day that's on the calendar is determined by Sanhedrin. And even though today we do know exactly when it's going to be, we actually don't. What happened was Hillel Hazaken, Hillel the elder, went and created a calendar. And the way he created the calendar was he announced. We have a seat right here. He announced when all the holidays would fall out. So we no longer had a Sanhedrin to declare when every Rosh Chodesh. So instead, he declared till the end of time. He created a calendar that would be useful till the end of time, which means whenever it's Yom Tov, the words we say are, the bracha, the blessing is, Mekadesh Yisrael v'hazmanim. Hashem sanctifies the Jew and the time. The zmanim are the holidays. Why do we say sanctify Yisrael and the zmanim? Because the holidays are never determined by Hashem. The holidays are determined by us. It's not him that determines it. We determine it. In fact, there's an interesting story. There was an argument, a debate that took place once in the Sanhedrin, and the question was, when would Yom Tov fall out? Now, it's a huge thing because Rabbi Yeshua knew that the whole Sanhedrin was wrong. He understood, based on calculations, that there was no way that they picked the right date for Rosh Chodesh. So as a result, he realized that Yom Kippur was going to be celebrated by everybody on the wrong day, because the astronomical calculations meant that the Beis Din had made a mistake. They had erred. And so he was about to celebrate Yom Kippur on the other day, the day before everybody. And Rabban Gamliel was the head of the Sanhedrin. He said, no. I want you to come to me on the day that you declare to be Yom Kippur. I want you to walk outside the amount you're allowed to walk on Shabbos and Yom Kippur. And I want you to come to me with your sack and with your belongings so that no matter what, you have desecrated what we considered Yom Kippur because it's only that day. So Rabbi Akiva found Rabbi Yeshua distressed. He said, I don't know what to do. He's making a mistake. The whole Sanhedrin is making a mistake. And Rabbi Akiva told Rabbi Yeshua, he says, you have nothing more to worry about. Because even though they made a mistake, if Beis Din makes a mistake, Hashem follows that mistake. And from now on, that's the new Yom Tov. And so Rabbi Yeshua arrived on that day, and he had desecrated what he would have said was Yom Kippur. And Rabbi Gamliel gave him a kiss, and he said, you are my student and my mentor, my Rebbe. You're my student because you listened to what I said. You're my mentor because, wow, you taught me a lesson because you were willing to forego what you knew to be true. And you're smarter than all of us, but Hashem doesn't want the smartness. He wants the understanding of Sanhedrin. And we couldn't understand that that's what it means to us. That's the day that Hashem declared. So Yom Tov is always declared by us. That's why it's Mekadesh Yisrael Ve'azmanim. It goes by Yisrael. But you never say Mekadesh Yisrael Ve'Hashabbos. You'll never say sanctifying Israel in Shabbos because Shabbos is declared by Hashem, not by Jews. When is Shabbos? Count 7 days for the rest of time. The seventh day will always be Shabbos. So there's never a situation that Jews declare when is Shabbos. Yet, for some reason, with the first order of the day, what we speak about Shabbos is Zachor et Yom HaShabbat lekadsho. Hashem says, I want you to sanctify Shabbos. You decide when is Shabbos. And you're like, how do I decide when is Shabbos? I don't make Shabbos holy. 5:06. Shabbos comes in. You like it, you don't like it. Shabbos came in. It's nothing to do with any one of us. What it means to sanctify the Shabbos is an experience of when Shabbos comes out. Shabbos needs to be created. You want to carve out an experience of Shabbos. What we're going to learn today in our class is how to create a Shabbos experience. How do you keep Shabbos? And I venture to say that if we understand this and we start working from within Shabbos, then we'll see that nobody gets triggered by that. When someone gets triggered by your keeping of Shabbos, instead of getting upset at them, maybe we want to look into ourselves and ask ourselves the question where you say, I'm keeping Shabbos. I'm keeping Shabbos. Am I keeping Shabbos? Do you feel Shabbos in your bones? What does it even mean to feel Shabbos? What does that mean, to feel Shabbos? All I know about Shabbos is 5:06. The calendar says Shabbos. You know what's interesting? When the Torah says to blow shofar on Rosh Hashanah, so it's a pasuk in Tehillim actually. What that means is blow shofar on the month when the holiday is hidden. So you're like, that's as enigmatic as you get. What does that mean? When you blow shofar? Why can't you just say Tiku be'echad lachodesh hashvi? Blow shofar on the first of the seventh month Tishrei. Blow shofar on the first of Tishrei. Instead, it says blow shofar when? In the month when the holiday is hidden. So what do we learn? Well, in the month means in the new month on Rosh Chodesh. So we look at the calendar and we say which holiday falls out on the Rosh Chodesh. The only Yom Tov that falls out on Rosh Chodesh is Rosh Hashanah. And that day, Yom Chagenu, the holiday is hidden. Why? Because the moon is hidden. But that's like backwards. Why can't you just tell me when you blow shofar? And the answer is quite powerful. I did tell you when to blow shofar. You're like, well, that's because we are used to knowing. You know when Rosh Hashanah is? Look at the calendar, it says Rosh Hashanah. That's not when Rosh Hashanah is. Rosh Hashanah is when Hashem decides to recreate the world. It's when everything goes back to its original state and he makes a chidush, he creates the whole world anew. And he's telling you, Tiku b'chodesh shofar, when you feel the chidush, when you feel the world to be brand new, that's when you blow the shofar. To say that to people like us is like, I don't feel nothing. I don't know what you're saying. When you feel the brand newness of creation, I don't feel that. Oh, okay. So let me break it down to you. It means when the calendar says Aleph Tishrei, that's when you keep it. To keep Shabbos, what it means to keep Shabbos is the same thing. It's an experience. It's just that we don't know how to do experiences today. So it's okay, whenever it falls out, that's when you do it. But at its core, it's the experience of Rosh Hashanah. It's the experience of Shabbos. So, curious, any ideas? What is the holiness of Shabbos? How do you make Shabbos? How would you say you keep Shabbos? Minus the do's and don'ts. The do's and don'ts, the 39 melachas, are the box in which Shabbos happens. Would it be incredible if you had a home whereby people, that's us as parents, change our thinking pattern when Shabbos comes in? So it's not that you're just like, okay, stop doing this, like the candles, but nothing changed in your thinking. And you're feeling. Imagine we could actually change the way we think and the way we feel on Shabbos. That might have an effect. Maybe our kids sometimes being triggered by a call to a depth of Shabbos. So what do you think? What's the feeling of Shabbos? Do you feel different on Shabbos? Okay. What's the energy?
Peace, relax.
Peace, very good. So what do you feel when the Shalom Yisrael comes down? You have an extra soul. So you're saying, I feel peace. What else?
I feel blessed. I feel like candles.
Yeah.
First thing I say is, Hashem, the best gift I ever received in my whole entire life is Shabbos. I can't get enough of it. I just want more and more and more.
Because why is it the best gift?
I can't say it. It's a feeling that it just comes over the whole house. The whole house is a feeling. And
let me ask you a question.
The
food's a big thing, right?
No, it's weird. You can't.
Can I play here? Let's say somebody is right.
And you have a little roll from
right.
Home, it's still Shabbos. Like,
how about
Shabbos
let's take I get fine. Let me take a different kind of Shabbos. Let's say a person is on their own with no family and just by themselves. And Shabbos comes in. It's like, so during the week you can actually go do stuff. You can actually numb your senses by all the things we do to numb our senses, which is put some screen in front of you and just look at it and stand there and hope that you get lost in the experience and you forget. And Shabbos, you can't do that. Isn't it like telling that it's sometimes you see people that they were religious and you realize religiosity has a lot to do with having that experience, the Shabbos table, the family around. And yet, possible, that would also be a question. What would Shabbos be like then? Would it be possible to feel that same peace? Shabbos, someone's retired. And they're not working the whole week either. They're just like sitting over there, very old, no koyach, no strength to do anything. Shabbos. Right? But yes, Shabbos is that moment of absolute bliss and absolute peace and serenity and connection. But let's
disconnection also, disconnection from all the chol,
disconnect, right?
and connecting to our inner selves and spirituality.
Right. So let's go into the mechanics of how Shabbos works. Because the first Shabbos was Shabbos Bereshis. The first Shabbos was when Hashem created the world. How did Hashem keep Shabbos? The last whatever being that I would think we need to keep Shabbos is Hashem. And yet Hashem says, I keep Shabbos, you keep Shabbos. First point about Shabbos is, nowhere in the Torah does he tell us to keep Shabbos. What he tells us is what he does. I keep Shabbos. Want to be like me? You also keep Shabbos. If you want. If you don't keep Shabbos nowadays, you know what happens to you? Nothing. That's the problem. If you do keep Shabbos, something incredible transpires. Hashem says, you want to be like me? Keep Shabbos. How do we keep Shabbos? Cease from creating work. So what Hashem does is, for 6 days, he works. When you work, it means you're engrossed in what you're doing. So you're heavily involved in what you're doing, and you're involved. The last thing you want to do is constantly look back at yourself and doubt yourself and think, am I doing okay? Am I doing good? Am I not? No, forget it. Make a decision what you want to do, and then just do it. And don't think twice about it, because you can't second guess yourself all the time. After you finish doing, imagine you're giving a class, giving a shiur. So while you're giving the shiur, you're in the middle of talking. So you're trying to develop a point. When you're writing an essay, you want to just write and get your thoughts out on paper. You're building a building. It takes months sometimes. You want to just work and get the thing done. Then there's something called the pleasure that comes at the end of the work. When you finish, you look back at what you've done. You finish the class, you look back, you say, oh, that's good. You finished that essay, you wrote it down, you finished a book. And there's a feeling that enters into a person. When you look at that house, you built that house, it took you 5 years to build, you sit in the house. At least the first day, you get to experience just how awesome it was. Oh, the second day, you're already like, you do something new. That's why I rest the case about building a house. The best way to build a house is with pieces. So you're always building something new, always doing something extra and special. But when you build a house, right, what you want to do, you want to feel at the end the pleasure that comes from finished, complete. That's what Shabbos is. Hashem says, 6 days we go out and do, act, and don't think about what you're doing, just do. And then you come back to yourself and you say like, whew. Once a week, when Shabbos comes in, what is Shabbos? It's what it says, lishbot, to cease, to desist from work. Stop it. Look back and now enjoy what you've accomplished. So all week long, you're achieving, accomplishing, doing. Shabbos is to feel the pleasure of what you're doing in life. When you light those candles, now comes the feeling that needs to be actively worked on. Resting, not easy. Because you're in the middle of something, you really want to just keep going. You want to just finish it. And Hashem says that the way the world works is that Sheishes Yomim Tavoid, you work for 6 days, and then Uvayim Hashvi Tishbois. Interesting how the word Shabbat, which is Shin Bet Taf, is the same letters as Tashev, Taf Shin Beis, which means to return. Teshuvah and Shabbos are very closely related. That's because that's what Teshuvah means, to return. Return back to who you are, return back to Hashem. Now, when Hashem created the world, in the 6 days of creation, the word he used, when we speak about Hashem, what do we call Hashem in creation? Bereshis Boro
Okay.
Elokim. Not once in the whole story of creation is the name Hashem used, Yud Kei Vav Kei. The only name that's used in creation is Elokim. Why?
How?
Elokim means,
Right?
Elokim is God as he is enclosed in nature. That's why Elokim, the Yud, the Mem, is the numerical value of 86. Aleph is 1, 31, 36 with a Hey, 46 with a Yud, 86 with a Mem. That's the same word as Hateva. Hateva, Hey 5, Tet 9, Bet 2, Ein 70 equals 86. Hateva, not Teva. The nature. Who's the one in control of nature? Who's in charge of nature? Who's behind the whole nature? Who is the force behind nature? All week long, you work with Hashem as he's enclosed in nature. And then once Hashem created the world, what does the Prophet say? So it says, "Va'yerev va'yivoy yom hashishi, va'yichulu hashamayim v'ya'aretz," and then what does it say? "Vayichal Elokim." Vayichal Elokim means Elokim was finished. Elokim was done. No more Elokim. From now on, later on, when it recounts again the story of creation a few seconds later, it says, "B'yom asot Hashem Elokim." Eretz Hashemayim. On the day that Hashem Elokim made the heavens and the earth. Suddenly now it introduces the name Hashem into the picture. What is the name of Hashem? Hashem, Yud Kei Vav Kei, is God as he transcends nature. What Hashem wants us to realize, and that's when Shabbos comes in, is that Hashem actually transcends nature. Hashem is unlimited. Who's your God? The God who's nature, you got to do stuff and accomplish, or when you go back into that pleasure and feel, wow, Hashem is my God. Yud Kei Vav Kei, which means the unlimited is my God. The miraculous. I live with the miraculous in my life. My life is one big miracle. Every 7 days, you go back, take a step back and say, wow. It's incredible to see Hashem happening all the time in my life. So all week long, you're busy doing this stuff. Once a week, you pause and you look back and you just realize that I'm not living a regular, natural life. Everything that's happening to me every step of the way is just divine. It's Hashem. Wow. When Shabbos comes in, what do we say? Lechu neranena la Hashem. You know what that whole piece of Kabbalah Shabbos is? Not one mention of Elokim. The whole thing is Hashem. The whole thing. It's all about, what do you say? Hashem, we call Elokim. Hashem is greater than Elokim. His own Elokim, not God. Hashem, the miraculous, is greater than nature. So all week long, I have to do things. I have to make believe like this world is actually real. I have to go pretend that I'm making money. No, I have to go make money, actually. I have to go do stuff. And then on Shabbos, I look back at my week and I say, whoa, one big, giant miracle. That's what I am experiencing. Hashem, is manifesting a miracle in the week through me. But I can't think about that every moment because I need to do my thing. So I got to go do active work. But on Shabbos, when I get to look back, I say, wow, incredible. Just miracles. Do you see anything besides miracles this whole week? All I saw was one big nace. Like, Havula Hashem b'nei Elim, Havula Hashem kavod va'oz, Havula Hashem kavod shemo. The whole thing is a realization of, unbelievable. And what happens is, Vayichal Elokim. Vayichal Elokim on the one hand means Elokim was finished. No more Elokim, it's all above Elokim. And on a deeper level, the word Vayichal means Klois HaNefesh. When you get married, you're called a Kala. What's a Kala?
Too long?
A bride. Why is she called a bride? To be long, to yearn. Klois HaNefesh. It's a longing for Hashem, a longing for a relationship with God. So even Elikim starts yearning. When Shabbos comes in. Shabbos is a whole different experience, right? Shabbos comes in, it means I look at my work week. You light the candles. You shut the world out. Done. Now what? Now it's active work to see. No matter what situation I'm in my life. It's to be able to find that, wow, I'm actually a representative of Hashem. I'm just here in this world to manifest the light of Hashem in this world. That's all I'm doing. And if I care to look at my week from a bird's eye view, from a deeper perspective, that's why we stop everything. You got to stop. Shabbos. And look at your life and see God every moment of your life. Every single one of us, every single week, can see Hashem. And if you take the time, which is called Shabbos, to pay attention, you'll see something amazing going on in your life. Now, so Hashem's creating the world, right? Sixth day of creation, he finishes. We make Kiddush, we say those words. When you lay in Simchas Torah, you say, you say, Hashem looked at whatever he did and it was good, not good, very good. It was night, it was day, the sixth day. The heavens and the earth were complete. Elohim covering and concealing, Hashem is now going to be revealed. Elohim is also the name of God, just to clarify. It's Hashem. It's just him as he's concealing himself. And those words which are right before Kiddush, pick up the cup of wine. You say, the words before are, Elohim, Hashem saw everything he done. The whole time in creation, except for one other time, he says, Tov. Tov was good. What's the difference between Tov and Tov Me'od?
Big difference. Question, why do you say me'od?
Oh, why Me'od? So the rabbis tell us, Tov, good is good. Good is when good things happen. Good is the Yetzer Tov, the good inclination. You know what Tov Me'od is? The Yetzer Hara. Good is the good inclination. Very good is what we call the evil inclination. He's not just good. He's very good, extremely good. And you're like, I don't like him. I want to stay away from him. I want to be with the Yetzer Hara. In our times, in our lives, there's good moments. We say, Tov, it's just so good. Everything's good. But there's so many experiences, so many moments when things just appear to be negative in life. And it looks like things are falling apart. It looks like Hashem is not with me. So many things can happen to us that upset us. And Hashem says, Elohim says, let's look at it all and say that there's some things are good and other things are very good. Case in point, what's today? Special day today. You know what today is? Zayin Adar Aleph. The first Adar, mainly.
You celebrate his birthday? No, both.
Well,
Celebrate.
Right, interesting, yeah. But on some level, it's on both or today. So in Haman, when Haman wants to make his decree, and Haman wants to Chas v'Shalom annihilate us, he looks and he's saying, oh, awesome. It's Adar that fell out on the poor. The lottery fell on an Adar. Why is it awesome? Because Moshe Rabbeinu passed away in that month on the 7th of Adar. Little did he know that Moshe Rabbeinu was not just his yahrzeit, it's also his birthday. We Jews have a tendency to look at everything in a positive light. So, for example, in this week's parsha, the only parsha since Moshe appears on the scene, right, in Shemais, basically over there where he's born, from then, every single parsha in the whole Torah is mentioned. except for this week's parasha, which always coincides with his yahrzeit. So I'm going to say, why is he not mentioned in the parasha? Because it's very sad, he died. That's one way of looking at it. But we don't like looking at negative things. So we're going to put on our deeper caps, our Hasidic caps, and say, you know why Moshe is not mentioned in the parasha? It isn't true that he's not mentioned in the parasha. He is mentioned in the parasha. The first word in the parasha says, Ve'ata, you. Who's you? You, Moshe. He's so not mentioned in the parasha, the whole thing's about him, because it's always trying to not say his name. So instead, we talk all the time to him directly. If I talk to you directly and you're sitting right next to me, I don't need to say your name because you're right here. I keep on saying your name. It's like, what are you doing? I'm here. Hello. So in a certain sense, actually, the rest of the Torah, Moshe is not as present as he is in this week's parasha. The day he died is the day he was hidden in us. It's the day he stopped being limited by a physical body, and now he's everywhere all the time. He's just a part of who we are. We can spin. It's not a spin. It's the deeper side of seeing that whenever something negative happens to you, it's not negative. It's just Hashem calling out deeper. That's all it is. See, when you live with Hashem in your life, you always see good. In fact, if someone tells you, sometimes people, you feel like a loser. You feel like, oh my gosh, my life is out of control, out of whack. And then one day someone will make a comment and kind of like buy into that same idea that you believe to be true. They say, oh my gosh, wow, your life is so bad. You know, when I had my son was born on the 17th of Tammuz. So it was Shabbos of Tammuz, it was on a fast day. So we're in a hospital, and I met this other young couple, and they had a baby. And the guy said to me, he saw us in hospital. We just had a baby. I think they were like leaving. And then I said, oh, great, awesome. When was this baby born? And the father tells me they're both there holding the baby. He says, we were like so worried. The baby was born the 16th of Tammuz. We were so worried the baby was born 17th of Tammuz because we didn't want to fast it. Oh, really? Well, fancy you telling me that. Hi baby, he's born on the 17th day of Tammuz. Right? So what am I supposed to do with that? Like, yeah, he's born then. The last one was Shabbos. But she waited. So you would have. But I wanted him to be born Tisha B'Av, because Tisha B'Av was the day Mashiach was born. Would have been nice. Actually, the 17th of Tammuz, I said to this guy, I don't understand what the thing is. First of all, you want to know when they made the goal? They made it actually on the 16th of Tammuz. The 17th was the next day, and Moshe came down. So, second of all, right. Second of all, the 17th of Tammuz is the greatest day possible. Do you know why? Because there's so much darkness in the world that this baby being born, just brought light into the world. Like, wow, I need this light when it's dark. What's the point of having light when it's not dark? Shraga B'tia Ramayahani, there was no point in making light when it's broad daylight. You need darkness to make light. You see, good is tov. But when something looks not good, it's actually tov me'od. It's amazing how you tackle this with someone. So you got like a negative experience, like I'm a loser. I'm not a loser. I'm here to bring Hashem down to a space where he's never been before. And it was like when you do, self-deprecation, and you can mock it and you can laugh at yourself, people who can do that become the most successful people ever. Because you're like, yeah, this is my situation. I'm not scared. I'm not hiding it. I'm not concerned what everyone's going to say, what people care about. I'm just me. And I'm Hashem's messenger to this crazy place that I am. And you, by the way, are probably just as crazy as me, except you're not ready to accept it. You look normal, and you're not.
So what's the difference then of keto?
Ketov means when things are good. Hey, we all want things to be good, right? It's great when you just see revealed good. It's wonderful. But when you don't, now it's a calling to you to say, make me good. That's why Tov Me'od, the word Me'od, is the same letters, Mem, Aleph, Dalet, as Adam. What makes you a person and a partner with Hashem in creation is when you can see Hashem everywhere. Now you're a mensch. Now you're a human being. Otherwise, you're just an animal. Animals just, whatever happens, happens. They can't change situations. Human beings are capable of making a change in everything with the seichel. By the way you start looking at things in a different light. Not a different light, in light. Where does it come from? The word me'od, mem aleph daled, and Adam is a numerical value of mem hey, 45. Moshe Rabbeinu, when he wants to depict what he is in Parashas Beshalach, he says, me and Aaron, what are we? V'nachnu ma. We are ma. What's ma? What? What is people who are able to say, just what? What? What am I? Nothing. I'm just a conduit to bring the power of Hashem down into the world. That's all I am. If I start viewing myself in that light, I'm a what? A what? No, I'm just not here. I'm just here to reveal God's power in this world. And that's me. A representative of Hashem. You get it? My life is not a shambles. I'm representing God. I'm a soldier in a place no one's been to before. Proud soldier. This is not bad. This is just extremely good. When I bring the me'od into the tov, and I find the ma in the tov, and I see the extreme good, well, now I can change everything. Try it out. Something happens, right? When it's good, great. Okay, next. Nothing to do. Just take a check. When it gets to be not good, you need to now ignite your powers. What do you want to do? You want to go back to Hashem and say, okay, Hashem, you want to reveal yourself in the world. For me right now, allowing this to happen. Coming down through me into the world. So I feel the pain and the hurt. I'm really, really hurt by what just happened. And I'm like, okay, so I'm hurt. Now what? Now I feel Hashem's embrace. Hashem hugs me and he says, I love you still. When you feel that embrace of Hashem, you simply, your whole reality changes. It's a different experience. That's called Shabbos. Shabbos is the same letters as Tashev, returning, taking things in the world and returning them back to Hashem. What does it mean to keep Shabbos? It means to feel how what's happening in the world before Elohim, which sometimes Elohim is the name of din, of judgment. Sometimes it looks like a judgment. Everything is just awesome. It's unbelievable. It's so good. What's good? What's good is whatever you make good. That's what's good. When you start looking at your life and you feel, Shabbos says, okay, put the candles on, and you feel that I'm just a child of Hashem. Everything in my life, everything's holy, everything's incredible. And I feel the power of Hashem hugging me. Hashem is just here all the time. Wow. And the more I feel his presence, the more powerful I become. That's why Jews have so much power, by the way. Because we keep Shabbos. Because we connect ourselves. That's the Neshama Yisera. It's like, hey, I'm attached, so I feel Hashem. And it's work to feel him. It's not easy. Resting ain't easy because all the time I want to do stuff, I want to accomplish, I want to do. And this past Shabbos when it came in, I had like a dozen problems that I really needed miracles to happen. I was looking at things. I needed this guy to do that. I need him to do that. I needed this to happen. And whoa. And I started thinking about all the things I need. And I'm like overwhelmed by all the things I need. And when Shabbos comes in, my natural tendency is to keep thinking about the things I need to do because now I can't do anything. So now I have 24 hours of just worry. Ever done that on Shabbos? Worry through Shabbos. It's not easy to say, I'm not worrying anymore. I have a lot to worry about. And Shabbos is, no worries. Stop worrying. And then every time the thought comes to my mind on Shabbos, and I thought like, I know, I'm going to say that. I know. Hashem is going to do the work. I'm just experiencing Hashem in my life. That's it. Not doing anything. Hashem's going to do the work for me. If you want to feel that on Shabbos, it doesn't happen on Shabbos unless you started doing it during the week. That means you want to have one big moment of feeling Hashem's presence. But then you got to do it all the time. That's why during the day, we are supposed to make how many brachas? 100 brachas a day. Where does Torah tell us you're going to make 100 blessings a day? What does the pasuk say? Do you know? The pasuk says, "Ve'ata Yisrael," pasuk in Parshas Eikim, and now Yisrael. Mo Hashem Elokecha shoel me'imach. What does Hashem ask of you? What does He want from you? And the rabbis tell us the word "mo" should not be read as "mo," but "meya." Al tikr mo ela meya. So we reread it. And now Yisrael, meya, 100, is what Hashem asks of you. He asks you to make 100 brachas a day. Now I ask you a question. Why can't He just say meya? Why does He have to say mo? He asks of you mo. He asks of you what? And then you say, no, it doesn't mean what. It means meya. The reason is? No. Hashem is telling you how to make brachas. Brachas, every time you make a bracha, it's a ma. Ma, Hashem Elokecha. He wants ma from you. What's the ma? Ma is 45. Adam is gematria ma. Ma is tov me'od. Ma is when you're able to take things that look not good and see them in good light and make them very, very, very good. Incredibly good. How do you do that? We have brachas planted all over the day. If you wake up in the morning and every time something happens, you feel, Baruch atah pekach Hebrew. I open my eyes. I feel Hashem's energy. Open my eyes. I'm able to stretch myself. Bracha, mati arsurim, zoikef kfufim, malbish harumim. I put on clothing, every single thing in my day. And through the day, every time you eat, what do you say? Energy of Hashem to draw down. Wow. If you keep doing that through the day, every single experience which looks negative sometimes is just completely transformed to the most awesome, positive experience. That's why, how do we keep Shabbos? Tov me'od. Shabbos makes your life not good, but very good. It's hard work. Tough. Very difficult. Because to rest means to allow Hashem's energy to flow through you. And we resist. And He says, yes. If you walk up the steps on Shabbos, that's not considered work. It's toil, it's not work. To work is to make your mind feel the whole time like I need to be in control. To let go is to keep Shabbos. And you can't just keep Shabbos on Shabbos. It doesn't happen once a week and that's it. If you want to keep Shabbos, Shabbos has to happen through your day. You have to look for opportunities through your day of making those brachas. Because every time you make bracha, what do you feel, right? The bracha is also, you say, Asher ki deshanim mitzvaysav. Translate the words Asher Kiddushanim Mitzvah. What does it mean? That he sanctified us with his commandments, right? But the word Asher, what does it mean? That Osher means Simcha. Asher Ishbei Beisecha. Every time you make a bracha, think of the bracha. Asher Kiddushanim Mitzvah. I thought my life was problematic. I just feel Osher. Osher. I feel excitement. Wow. People tell me that you're supposed to feel this way, that that's successful, that's not. But I know that I feel Hashem's embrace in my life in a moment. If you just feel Hashem embracing you, every single thing becomes exciting. Brachas are Asher Kiddushanim Mitzvah, so is Shabbos. Shabbos is Tainug. Shabbos is absolute bliss and pleasure, the ultimate of Asher. But the Torah tells us, Zachor et Yom HaShabbat lekadsho. You can't just expect Shabbos to happen. Shabbos has to be worked, and then it's not triggering. What's triggering about it is that we're not really keeping Shabbos, that we really feel the negativity in our lives. When I look at my child and myself and everything around, and I see, if it's good, great, it's awesome. If it's not good, it's unbelievably good. Because I am going to change it and flip the story. And every time I work it, I flip stories. I change the whole story. If I'm doing it, one day the whole world changes. That's called, we say, we should feel the rest of Hashem. We should feel the power of Hashem in our lives everywhere. But every Shabbos, when Shabbos finishes, we make Havdalah. Havdalah is not a negative. It's the most unbelievable thing. Because when Shabbos is over, we say, Asher bara Elokim. Why did Hashem create Elokim? Why did he vacate? Elokim is also the name of Hashem. Why did Hashem pull himself away, and move away from Shabbos and allow Matzah Shabbos and Sunday to begin in the 6-day work week? La'asot. For you to be able to do stuff. Because you're making miracles. Every moment of your life, you're making miracles. 100 brachas is the completion. It doesn't mean only 100 brachas. It means 100 opportunities. Every single day is opportunities to take things that are tov and make them tov meod. And the more you do that, the more you get used to it, the more real Shabbos becomes. And the more real Shabbos becomes, people around you can't help but to feel the power of Shabbos. It's the most unbelievable power in the world. It's the power of resting. It's a lot of work to rest. But resting is a blissful experience that everything in the world is just moving tashev towards the divine, towards God, as long as we allow it to happen.
Thank you.